Assalamualaikum. This is Ahsanul Qawaid, lesson 9. For this lesson, you want to open up to page 6 of your book. For this part of page 6, we're going to be looking at the letters when they are joined to each other. And so, what I'd like you guys to do is repeat along with me so you can get the hang of what this lesson is trying to tell us. We'll also get practice recognizing letters when they are in words and not just by themselves. So, the previous lesson where we learned the form of the letters in the beginning will really help out for this part. Okay, so starting with this first line, this first letter is ba. The next letter is sin. So we have ba, sin, bas. Ba, sin, bas. And we're just joining the sound that the letters make together to practice reading. Next word is ta, ra, tar. Ta, ra, tar. Next one, ta, mim, dam. Da, mim, dam. So sometimes people will make the mistake and say damim, but we want to remember that mim is the name of the letter and ma, or the M sound, is the sound that it makes. And it's the sound that the letter makes that we are using when we read Arabic. So we're going to say da, mim, dam. We are using the sounds to read. Next word is jim, lam, jel. So notice we're not saying jim, lam because that's the names of the letters. We're using the sounds. So ja, la, jel. Next one, ha, ja, hajj. Ha, ja, hajj. Next one, kha, ta, khat. Kha, ta, khat. Next one, sa or sin, which makes the sa sound. Dal, which makes the da sound. Sa, da, sad. Sa, da, sad. Last one on this line. This is a sheen. It makes the sha sound. And a ra, sha, ra, shar. Sha, ra, shar. Okay, so now that we've practiced the first line together, if you'd like, pause the video and see if you can try this second line by yourself. If not, you can repeat along with me and we'll try again for the next line. So this first one, ayn, which makes the a sound, and dhal, which makes the sound, az. Ayn, dhal, az. Ayn, dhal, az. Next one, sad, ba, sab. Sa, ba, sab. Next one, we have a ba and a da, bud. Ba, da, bud. And notice the ba is heavy. Even though it makes the D sound, it's a heavy D sound. And so for the dad, one of the tricks to help you get out the right sound is to put your mouth in a circle when you're saying this. So when you're saying the D sound, put your mouth in a circle and say ba, ba. For the dal, on the other hand, this, because it's light, you can say it's smiling. So ba with your mouth in a circle and da with your mouth smiling. Bud. Next one. Ghain, mim, gham. Ghain, mim, gham. Next one. Fa, dhal, fadh. Fa, dhal, fadh. Next one. Qaf, لام قل. قاف لام قل. Next one. كاف نون كن. كاف نون كن. And last one. لام ميم لم. لام ميم لم. Okay. See if you can pause the video and practice this line yourself, and then unpause the video when you're ready to hear the answers and repeat after me. So this first one is noon, and notice how the noon is different than the fa. So the fa up here has the circle, even though it's filled in, it's still a circle. The circle with the dot, one dot on top is a fa, and the line with one dot on top is the noon. So noon, kaf, nek. Noon, kaf, nek. Next one, ha, la, hel. Ha, la, hel. Next one, hamza, which makes the sound. Remember, it sounds like an alif. So hamza, val, ed. Hamza, val, ed. Next one, two dots at the bottom is ya. So we have ya, ra, yar. Ya, ra, yar. Next letter is fa, jim, faj. Fa, jim, faj. Next one, noon, ta, net. Noon, ta, net. Next one, three dots on top is a fa. So we have a fa, ba, thab. Fa, ba, thab. And last one is a noon, va, nav. Noon, va, nav. So the most important thing to get with this lesson is that we have to remember the difference between the name of the letter and the sound that the letter makes. So for example, with this lam and mim, we don't say lam mim when we're reading the word. We take the la sound of the letter and the ma sound of the letter, and we connect that together. So lam. Okay. And for this next part in your book, you'll notice that there should be a couple of letters that you recognize, more than a couple. And then there are some that look a little bit different. So we're going to go through the letters that look a little bit different. And I will explain to you what form they are in. So here we have our alif that we know about, we have the ba, here we have da, then we have ain, ra, and fa. So the first line should look familiar to you. For this next line, I'll be circling what's important for you guys to remember. So we're going to look at this one. For this letter, you should notice that that is our ba in the beginning form, our ba. This next one here, this is what a ba looks like when it connects to certain letters. So really the most important thing to remember for this one is that ba has one dot at the bottom, and that holds true for every form of ba. So if you see a line with one dot at the bottom, that is your ba. The next set of letters that are important are the das. So these are different forms of das. Sometimes you can see a da that looks like this when it's connected to certain letters. When da comes at the end of a word, it looks like this form right here. So I'm just going to write end. That's what da looks like. And the key thing for das is always two dots at the top. And this is another form of how da looks like at the end. Sometimes the da is connected to the letter before, which is why we see this little squiggly portion. And sometimes it's not, which is why we just see it as a circle with two dots. So these are all different forms of da. that we will see in examples that come later. So this is just to introduce you to how these letters look, but don't worry if you don't completely have it down pat yet, because it will, inshallah, be easier when we see these in examples. This next one is they are showing us what ayn looks like in the middle. So I'm going to write M for middle. This is what ayn looks like. So it's connected on this side. It's connected on this side. And here we just keep this top part here. That is our ayn. And this one here is what ayn looks like at the end. So I'm going to write an E for end. We have the top part, but we also keep this end hook here when ayn comes at the end. And the same thing goes for our ghain. So remember, ghain is an ayn with a dot. So the form is the exact same in the middle and the end, but ghain has a dot. Our next one they're showing us is fa. So this first one is what fa would look like in the middle. And the same thing holds true for fa, is you have to look at that circle shape with the one dot. That's how you're going to know you have a fa. So this first one is what a fa looks like in the middle. And this last one is what a fa looks like at the end. So at the end is kind of nice because it keeps the exact same form as the fa normally. All right. So this line should look familiar to you guys. We have our qaf, kaf, lam, mim, ha, and this one may not look as familiar, but this is another form of our ha. So I'm going to write our first ha here. If you remember, this guy is the first ha we ever looked at. This is another way to write it, and this is what ha usually looks like at the end. And ha has no dots, and the da that you'll notice up here does have dots. It has 2 dots. And then this last one at the end is our ya. So matching this down here, this one is qaf. And a qaf in the middle, this is a qaf in the middle. And a qaf in the middle has the circle shape with 2 dots at the top. So it keeps the fa shape, which is a circle, but instead of having only 1 dot, it has 2 dots. Now they just want to remind us of this gaf again, right? This is our gaf in the beginning. So one way I told you guys you can remember it is take this center part, and that is what has been pulled out to make the gaf at the beginning form. Now, this next letter is 2 letters connected. These are lam and alifs. So when lam and alifs are connected when those 2 letters are connected together, this is what they look like. So this would be lam, alif, la. Lam, alif, la. So sometimes they're written like these 2 forms that you're seeing here. And sometimes lam, alifs are also written like this. So we have the lam that comes first, and then the alif that branches off of it. So these are different forms of lam and alif. And we'll see more examples of this later, inshallah. The next one, these are our forms of meme. So this first one is our form of meme in the middle. This next one is the way the meme looks like at the end. And sometimes memes can also look like this one in the middle. So this is sometimes what memes look like in the middle. They won't have a complete circle, but it'll be kind of like a filled in circle. But you guys don't have to worry about this right now. We will see that in examples as it comes up, inshallah. And finally, this one. We have our ha in the end form. And notice that the ha looks like the da at the end form, but it just doesn't have dots. And this squiggle, we won't see it too much, but sometimes these ha's can just be a squiggle. It can be written like this in the middle of a word as a squiggle. But most of the time, you will be seeing the ha's exactly like how we've practiced, with the 2 circles next to each other or the 2 circles that are on top of each other. And I'm going to actually write that a little bit better so you guys can see. Or we may see it in this version. And again, we'll do more practice with that, inshallah. And this last letter is ya. And so ya is always, we always know it's a ya because it has 2 dots at the bottom. All right, so we're going to go through this exercise together so we can practice recognizing the letters that they just showed us above. So this first one would be a noon, 1 dot at the top. This next one would be a ba. This one we should know is a tha, 3 dots at the top. This one would be a ta at the end form. This one would be our ayn. Next one would also be the ta, but remember this is what the ta looks like at the end when it is connected to the letters before it. This one is kind of a free agent. It's not really connected to the letters before. This one is a tha. This is another version of our ha, the squiggle, but we won't be seeing this too often, so you don't have to worry about this too much. This next one is our ghain in the middle form. And this last one here is a qaf. Jumping to the next line, you guys should notice that this is a ya. This is a ya in the beginning form because of the 2 dots at the bottom. Our next one is a da because of the 2 dots at the top. This next one is lam, alif, la. So remember the ones that looked like this too? Well, the one I drew out was another form, and this is the same one that they've drawn out. So these are the different forms of when you connect a lam and an alif together. This next letter, this first one is a kaf. This is what a kaf looks like when it's connected to a lam. And that's just something that is worth memorizing because we'll see this a lot, that when a kaf is connected to a lam, it takes a completely different shape than what we're used to. And it gets this little circle with a line sticking out. So if we were to connect the kaf to the lam, we would say kul, kul, and this is what the kaf would look like. Next one, we have our meme that comes first, and then the da. Next one, we have a ba connected to a ha. For this one, we have a sad connected to a ta. And for this, you don't have to worry about reading it just yet. We want to just recognize the letters that are coming here. This next one, we have ayn, and then the squiggle ha that I told you guys don't have to worry about too much. We won't be seeing that a lot. Next one is the hamza, and we have the ayn. And then here we have a ba and a ghain. All right, let's go to this last line here and see if you can get it before me. See if you can pause the video, try to see if you can recognize the letters, and then unpause it and see if you got it right. So this first one is noon. Next one is ayn. This one is a ba. And the next one is a qaf. And for this one right here that I'm going to circle, this is also worth memorizing because we'll see this a lot in the Quran where 2 letters will be stacked on top of each other. And the way we can differentiate is by the dots. So I'm going to draw this out in different colors here. This first one, I'm going to highlight in green. This is 1 letter, this line. And this is the dot associated with the letter on top of it. So think about this, guys. Which letter has 1 dot at the top? If you thought noon, you are absolutely right. So this first letter is a noon. I'm going to split it up where it stops right here. This top one is a noon. And if you'll notice up here, they tried to show us that noon because of the 1 dot at the top. So the first letter on top is a noon. Let's look at the next one. And I will draw on top of the next letter. So this should be one that you guys recognize. It's this shape with 1 dot at the bottom. So if you thought jeem, you are correct. That is what a jeem looks like in the beginning or when it's connected to another letter. So we have a noon that comes on top of a jim. And we'll get more practice with this, inshallah. Next one is a ya and then a meme. And this is what a kaf looks like when it's connected to an alif. So we have the alif here and then the ka here. So we have kaf, alif. This next one, first letter. Which letter has 2 dots on top? If you thought ta, you are correct. This first one is a ta, and it is connected to a letter with 2 dots at the bottom. And if you thought that's a ya, you are also correct. So this is a ta and a ya. Next one. See if you can do this one by yourself. If you got tha, because of the 3 dots, and then ya, you are correct. This next one, I'm going to circle the first letter. This has 1 dot at the bottom. So we know that that is a ba, and it's connected to a letter with 2 dots at the bottom, which is a ya. So ba and ya. This next one, and it may be kind of hard to recognize at first, but if you look at what we learned before, it's the letter that looks like this. That was our lam connected to another letter. So we have a lam here, and it's connected to a ya. Finally, for this last one, which letter has 1 dot at the top? If you thought noon, you are correct. So this is a noon connected to a ya. All right, we've done a lot in this lesson. And the important takeaway from this lesson is for you guys to start recognizing the letters when they are connected to other letters. You don't have to know how to read these ones down here, but you want to get an idea of how to recognize them. And the most important thing is the dots. The dots will always help you. Remember, 2 dots at the top, da, 3 dots at the top, tha, 2 dots at the bottom, ya, 1 dot at the top, noon. So those are the things that you guys want to pay attention to.